So, Group 4, Storytelling 2019. I just want to warn everybody that was in my group who thought there was only 2 of us that are going to be doing anything for this presentation. We're about to do some improv, whether you like it or not. Chapter 1. There was a group of teachers that were sent to 302, and they were faced with 2 big pieces of yellow paper, crayons, and had no idea what they were doing. Eventually, a mind map was born. And this mind map culminated in the ideas of all of these teachers. And from their brains came genius. That first bit of genius was someone's idea to use a puppet show. And I call upon this teacher to talk about how this puppet show is supposed to work.
Try to reduce the students' the pressure, and we would like to build the students' the confidence. So at the first, because in my English classroom, I just built the show, the puppet show stage. So those for those the lower learner, or those the low achiever, so they can hide behind that the show stage. So they can use the puppy or the socks or something, so they can play. So they just kind of like they need to show in front of the audience, the students, so that will help them. And the later the step will be like just kind of we just do the broadcasting, and then later we just using the morning assembling. So then just step by step, and then the students get used to do that.
Chapter 2. The next teacher goes on the chopping block. And this next teacher had the great idea of using animated PowerPoints to tell stories. Beverly, come on.
Okay, so this teacher knows that the smartest thing a teacher can do is learn from a smarter teacher. So in Jonghua, we have Ted Brown. And Ted Brown takes storybooks. Like the ones you find on the internet, PowerPoint, scanned versions. He makes them beautiful. He animates them. He puts sound to them. And he brings like a great series like Elephant and Piggy. I don't know if you know Elephant and Piggy. Yeah, he brings that thing to life. Gives it a whole new fresh coat of magic. And then we use it for story listening, for storytelling, and because of the repetitious vocab, because the characters stay the same, you see the student comfort levels just go up and up and up, because they say, oh wait, I know who Gerald is, I know who Piggy is, let me listen to this story. And then slowly but surely they start reading along. And then of course when you do self-selected reading, and an Elephant and Piggy book happens to be on the table, you get like a swarm going, I'll have it. Because the input has been comprehensible and the story has stuck. So if you don't have any like smarter than you teachers, just like come to us. We have a smarter than all of us, Ted Brown. Chapter 2 of Renown.
Chapter 3. Now, the host understands that the level of anxiety by some of the teachers behind me is possibly rising to insurmountable levels. Who shall it be who's going to talk about listening and writing skills using audiobooks? Now, to choose this teacher, I'm just going to use my finger and point.
Well, no, it's fine. Actually, in the session, I didn't really say anything, but I Well, you know, at the junior high school with my curriculum, it's hard to like fit this kind of stuff in. But as far as writing goes, I did something where I gave them a story that was very structured, like beginning, middle, end. And then I would just give them almost a blank piece of paper that just had once upon a time, and then some sequential words with paragraphs, and they had to make their own story with some key words that we had. So they could, you know, switch things up. Instead of the big bad wolf chasing the girl or whatever, it could be the big bad girl chasing the wolf or something along those lines, and make it a little more interesting and different. And it's been a while since I did something like that, but I think I could keep doing it in the future and it will be successful. Yeah.
Chapter 4? Chapter 5. Anyone know which chapter? Does anyone remember?
Chapter next.
Chapter, oh, thank you. Chapter next. He was listening. Nobody else was listening. Now, for our conclusion, we left the best for last. No pressure, by the way. Because my 10 minutes are up, man. I've been on stage for 10 minutes. It's your turn. Listening story coming up, and I'm sure he'll use the other ones that haven't talked to sacrifice themselves too.
You guys can sit down. Back again, sir. It's always good when you talk for 3 days about how you want to create a safe environment in the classroom, and you want to lower that filter so that way they're excited about English. Okay, so this is going to be the same way I did the Zach Loves Pizza story, but one of the teachers in Chunghwa, he's a funny guy, and he was telling us this very short story, and I'm like, man, this would be a great story listening lesson. So it's not mine. Like I said, you pick somebody who's smarter than you to steal your stuff, right? So this is to go along with bad jokes, and I forget who told me this bad joke, but why do you not give a balloon to Elsa? Because she'll let it go. Okay, yeah.
I thought it was a great show.
Thank you! So I told this to a 6th grade class, and it was hilarious to watch. You know, as you finished, like one kid got it, and and then the next kid would like figure it out too, and then it just slowly crossed the classroom, like them figuring it out. So it starts out, and again, this is going to prove that you don't need to be a good drawer. I've not practiced in a very long time, and an airplane is very good draw. It was an airplane. This airplane was flying over the ocean, and there was a very big problem. The airplane crashed and broke apart. There was 3 people who did it. And they went to an island. There are my 3 people. I think after that last comment, you're going to be one of my friends. Bad joke. Bad joke. So, 3 people go onto the island. And on the island, there's a big problem because there is no food. So they're hungry. They're about to die. They're looking for food, and one friend sees a big tree. There's no food on the tree, but right by the tree there is a little lamp. Interesting. Little lamp. One friend touches the lamp, and whoa! Out comes Genie. out comes a genie. The genie says, oh, thank you. You all get one wish. One wish. So one wish for this person, one wish.
I know.
One wish. So one wish for this person, one wish for this person, one wish for this person. Now remember, they are about to die because there is no food. So the first person, being the smart person that he is, he would be my smart person. Smart person that you are, you say, oh, my one wish. I want to be at home in my very big house. Very big. He says, I want to be at home with my family. Right at home. So, he says, I want to be at home, and poof! He goes home. Yay! Our next person, sorry you're going last. Our next person, being the smart person, says, oh, I want to be at home with my family. So this person wants to be at home, poof! Oh, he goes to his smaller home. Wow, doing very good. You have one wish left. This person, she looks around. She says, I want my friends. And poof! Do I have to keep filling the time? The end, yes. So, once again, you do not need to be good at drawing because nothing here was good. Like you understood the premise. I mean, especially my airplane, that's awful, but if you just draw it like, guys, when I do this, it's an airplane.
Okay, a group photo. I mean, the group music photo. Next group photo.
By the way, we had lots more ideas on storytelling. Hopefully someone took a photo of the mind map, so if you wanted to go back and have a look at it, hopefully it'll be in a folder somewhere.
I guess because he was in it. He got the big house.
These two friends have joined me. And I just wish all my friends were around me.
I'm not on the island now. You don't die alone.
Okay, thank you for the 4 excellent groups. Okay, you guys are drama queen. Wow. So entertaining. Let's just... Oh yeah, okay. So you want to say goodbye to everybody?
I'm on the line room, so if anybody, I'd love to get, I can
Oh, you can write down your vote. The vote, the vote ticket. 那个谁 Sarah， 哦，可以让他先选吗？好，让他先选。 Alright, so everyone will get 1 ticket. You can write down 2 groups, and it's included your own group. If you think I'm amazing, we are amazing, I just can't help to write down our own name. So fine, it's okay, it's okay. But you're humble. I mean, no, I can't say this word, like a humble thing. So, and I don't want to invite professor to give comment first. Otherwise, that will influence your decision, your choice. Okay. So I think everybody you can just write down, pick 2 groups. Yes, and after you're doing that, you throw it into a bag. It's confidential. Okay. So don't worry, it's confidential. We won't recognize your handwriting. No worry, no worry. 拜拜。那个可以拿袋子来丢 有选票，
哦，OK，所以我这个还要那个，对不对？可是我当时我这个可能辛苦了。
那就说我们就好了。And after everyone finished the votes, we're in class for some comments. Just say something good. Just say something good and nice, or just nod your head. Excellent, great. Now, let me check who hasn't thrown your tickets to the back. Alright. Good question.
It's like presidential election. Me? Oh, you did such a good job. I don't want to spoil the fun. See, every year when I was chair of the English department some time ago, when I was still teaching at NTNU, we host this high school playlet contest, English playlet contest every year, and you see those kids. Every team was well prepared, and it's so difficult to choose the first three. And so you see, the decision was so difficult to make. And when you finally pick the last three, the first three, then you see other teams crying and leaving.
We're quiet.
But that won't happen here. Okay, so you all did a good job. Like I think the best part is that, like in the past 2 days, okay, we get our colleagues here to share what they have done in their schools, and we learn a lot from each other. So actually, for the final presentations that we just watched, again, we see a lot of nice things that we can learn and use when we go back to our schools. Okay? Like the first one, teaching vocabulary and teaching sentence patterns. Vocabulary may be fun, sentence patterns may not be so fun. But the first group had this magic that after introducing the words, they try to integrate the words into the patterns. What is his name? How does he feel? And things like that. So it's kind of comes out naturally. Okay, so I think the first group was excellent to me, okay? So why don't we get a big hand? Group, phonics, okay? And again, we have everybody here. And then they work as a... Are we ready to do that? No, I have to finish first, right? Okay. Okay. So the really difficult part for this phonics is to associate the letters with the sounds. Okay. And there are some sounds that Taiwanese learners find very difficult, like the at, like the like the sun, pun, fun. Okay. And they manage to show us that there are ways, okay, to have the student learn the combinations of these initials, and we call this the rhyming scheme, okay, pat, asked, or something like that. And usually, kids don't have lots of vocabulary to build up this kind of association because they don't have much input. And most of the input comes from the stories. So when you do stories, when you're reading the story to the kids, actually they're making the associations. So sometimes finger reading helps a lot. They know where they are and what words they should be paying attention now and things like that. For me, these presentations, the second part on phonics is very challenging. And if we manage to do as they did here, I think students would pay attention and they would see the fun of these different combinations, and they get to practice the different combinations. So let's again give the second group a big hand. And festivals. Okay, now the real challenge for festivals is that starting from grade 1, they learn about Christmas, Halloween. Grade 2, again, the same thing, recycled. The third group actually talk about a lot of things going beyond this routine, because for kindergarten, for elementary school students, sometimes they complain we are doing the same thing again every year. So my suggestion would be, if we're going to do this, maybe if you're staying in the school over, say, 2 or 3 years, make sure that the complexity and the depth for introducing those festivals should vary according to students' level of proficiency, their cognitive development, and things like that. Okay, but what we saw just now about festivals is that, well, there are lots of things to think about. It's not just talking about, hey, this is Christmas, and this is what we do. Sorry, this is what they do. Okay, now we're talking about comparing different cultures. So for the Ghost Month here, July, on the Lunar New Year, some things, some events can be used to compare with what people do, say Easter, rebirth, okay, or Halloween. So you can, depending on what you want to focus on, okay, so you can compare local cultures, local festivals with the one we want to say introduce. But again, I think what struck me for the third topic was that you're able to compare local festivals with the one that you aim to introduce. And the nice thing would be that these kids, when they grow up, they will remember that sometime in this learning process, you have made this comparison, and they will remember that all their life. Okay, so festivals is something cultural, and they get to learn about another culture, and they also, hopefully, they can introduce their own cultures, their own festivals in English. It's like what Korean curriculum impressed me most is that one of the things they mentioned about teaching objectives using English is to promote Korean culture to the world. Maybe we should do the same thing here. Okay, so group 3, please give them a big hand. And lastly, okay, storytelling. Well, you really have a way to introduce the different chapters. You can point and then they just come out naturally. So we have very good storytellers. Okay, and then actually for me, storytelling really is the key. Okay, how students will get interested. This morning when I visited their group, I talked about how my son got started to become interested in English. First, from the Arthur series, we have a naughty schoolboy, and what happened to him, okay, in school, in other situations, and then he managed to like this series, and later he expanded to the Harry Potter, something that he was familiar with. So story can be fascinating, can create magic for students in terms of their learning. So if you have good stories, share them with your students, okay? Some of them will get inspired and they will spend time studying English, reading those stories on their own. Okay? You will see amazing things. Okay, but storytelling, actually, I joined their discussion. There were a whole lot other things that they talk about. So make sure you take a photo of the poster. Right. That's a really nice one there. Okay, so let's give them a big hand. Okay. All of you are winners to me. Okay. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Okay.